Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. All right, so we're going to start at the beginning. If you are a new colorist and you are having some challenges, I would like to start at the beginning of the journey, and we're going to go from that space on forward. I do want you to take some advice from the people that are in the chat because they are a little bit further ahead in some capacity for some of us. We all have take everything I say with a grain of salt. We all have our own opinions about stuff, okay? That's just what it is. And if you know someone who is a new colorist and they should be here, you should more than likely share this live with them because I'm going to try to start from the beginning of the journey of a colorist and move forward from there. So the first thing I would say is important as a colorist is understanding the products. So we'll start with products. What am I talking about? I'm talking about your products, everything that you want to use to color with, whether it be marker, it could be color pencil. You can have other substrates that you add on to that. I'm going to put other substrates right here. If y'all can see that, I don't think you can. Let's lift this up some. So we're talking about products, right? Let me slide that over to the left. Can y'all see this? This whole page? Cool. So with marker, you have different options. You have water-based markers. You have alcohol markers. You said, no, you can't see? Y'all can't see? You can see. How come you can't see? And then you have paint pens. Now, I could put paint pens. Some paint pens can go underwater based because some paint pens are water based. Some are oil based. Okay. But when it comes to water based markers, you have a variety. Almost every brand makes a water based marker. So you have to be very clear if you buy a water based marker, what you're going to be using it for, because it does have its uses. But a water based marker is not going to give you the blending. So is a water-based marker going to give you blending? You can blend, but it ain't always going to turn out well. And then you have alcohol-based markers. So if you want to blend things and you want them to look good, you're going to get that from alcohol-based markers. And then you have paint pens, and paint pens they go over everything. I'm going to say everything, but pretty much everything on a page. If you have an issue, you can put a paint pen on top of it and it will cover it. So paint pens cover dang near almost everything. Move the page to the left. Okay. Is that better? So paint pens cover dang near everything. Okay. So if you are a new colorist and you want products, you want your markers, you're going to have water-based, alcohol-based, and paint pens. Now, the paint pens have different attributes. The alcohol markers have different attributes. I don't know that I've ever seen well, you can. So all of them have different attributes. With these two, you are going to get chisel tips. So your tips will matter. So you can get chisel tip, you can get brush, and you can also get, I call them nibs, but this the fine tip. I call them nibs because they look like nibs, little nibs. So you have chisel tip, you have brush, you have fine tip. With paint pens, what you're going to end up having is a brush. You'll also get the clickables. So I don't know what they call those. It's a retractable tip, essentially. So you can get more liquid out. So they go over everything. You can get a brush tip. You can get a retractable. You can also get it in a variety of sizes. So sometimes you can get a brush tip that has a thick nib. Sometimes you can get it as very fine. They have a variety of sizes. With paint pen, you're going to have to figure out what kind of paint pen you like. You may like a paint pen that doesn't retract. And what I mean by retract is the paint pen, when you're painting, it's basically you doing like this in order to get more ink out. That's not really what you're doing. You're doing like this, but you're doing that to get the paint out. So that's what I mean by retractable. And then you have a variety of sizes. So you can have something that's fine tip. You can have something that's medium tip. You can have something that has a very, very thick tip. So those are the options you have when you're looking at marker. All right. When we talk about color pencil, you have some variety here as well. Let me go back to marker for a second. With marker, you can also have, what's the thing called? Watercolor. So you can get watercolor markers, and they are watercolor, like it's watercolor. So you can get watercolor markers as well. So I guess that's my one, two, three, fourth type of marker. And you can get oil based markers as well, because I have all of these. So sometimes you can get watercolor markers and sometimes you can get oil based markers. It really just depends on what you're trying to do. With color pencils, a paint pen is an acrylic marker. I call them paint pens, but they are acrylic markers. Most of them are acrylic markers. Some of them are not. So she's right. I call them paint pens. I just throw them all in that category, but they can be oil-based or they can be acrylic-based, which are two different things. Hey, Tashella, welcome in. You said yay notes. I thought that was Tamu. I thought you were Tamu. I was like, okay. Yeah, so you can get acrylic markers or you can get oil-based markers, but I call them all paint pens. So I'll move this and put it down here with the other ones just to make sure. So let's put acrylic markers down here. Thank you, Tashella. All right, so that's that. We've covered markers. That makes sense. There are 3 different price points when you come to purchasing these products. You have your low and you have your medium and you have your high tier of price points. This part of things you can kind of figure out for yourself based on your own budget, but you also know that when you get certain things, that budget determines the quality of how you're going to output your product. So if you're coloring something and you think, oh, this looks really good, I'm so excited about it, but then the coloring of it doesn't render the way you want it to, sometimes it's the cost of what you bought. Sometimes, just letting you know, sometimes it's the cost of what you bought. Sometimes you think you are coloring with an alcohol marker, but you're actually coloring with a water-based marker. So you have to think about what it is that you want to do to make your stuff work the way you want it to work. And trust me, water and alcohol as markers do not mix. I've tried it accidentally, was mixing something on a page. I'm like, why is it not doing what I wanted to do? Because when I first started coloring, I used to mix my brands a lot. And I didn't realize I was coloring with a water-based marker and an alcohol marker and wondering why the blend wasn't working. So a lot of this is kind of trial and error when you are playing with things. A low cost price point versus a medium price point versus a high price point is always going to depend on you. But there are a lot of markers that are really nice that are not super expensive. So I have some of the brands. Cali Art to me is not an expensive brand, and I really do enjoy Cali Art as a marker. This one is a chisel tip. This is what a chisel tip looks like. And this is what I call a nib, which they call fine. So this is what fine looks like. I use these a lot when I don't care, when I'm not making art that I'm going to sell to somebody. These I use Cali Art. Cali Art is perfectly fine. You can get them, but you do not need Ohuhus. Cali Art markers do the exact same thing. And these markers are actually juicier than you would find with an Ohuhu. So there's that. I'm going to say this to y'all. If you are interested in getting more of a breakdown of the brands that I have and I've reviewed, you can join our mailing list. You will get that breakdown with all those details. This is Sophia. Sophia is a low-cost marker brand as well. This is a brush tip. This is a chisel tip. And so this one comes with a brush and a chisel. A brush and a chisel is not my preference. A brush and a nib is always going to be my preference. But do I have a ton of these? Because I have literally 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 drawers of Sophia markers sitting here. Yes, because even though I can't get the fine on the other side, because it's a brush tip, I'm able to do the same thing with a brush tip than I would do with a fine side. So this is what a Sophia marker looks like. When I go out and do classes with clients, like I set up my markers in these little sets, and I always include chisels and nibs. I always include chisels, nibs, and brushes because they're also discovering what they like in a marker. So discovery is just as important as anything else when you are doing these markers, when you're learning these markers. I would say a mid-tier marker could potentially be a Sanjoki, or a low-cost marker could be a Sanjoki. This is a Sanjoki marker. It is chisel and brush tip. Okay. That's a Sanjoki. Sanjokis don't look super different from Sophias, don't look super different from Ohuhus. I didn't bring my Ohuhus out here, but They look very similar. They do the same damn thing. Like, don't let anybody get on these lives and tell you that one of these brands that I just showed y'all, a Cali Art, a Sophia, a Sanjoki, an Ohuhu, one is better than the other. They're very similar. You get to do the same thing with all of them. Very, very similar brands in cost, but very, very similar brands in effect. Okay. So there's that. And then these are the higher tier markers that I have. I love Prismacolor. I think it's dope as hell. Prismacolor comes with a brush tip, and the brush is different than you would get with these other brands. These brush tips aren't the same. This is how this brush tip renders, but the Prismacolor brush tip is more flexible. So I don't know if y'all could see that, but it is way more flexible than you would find. Sorry, I tried to put it on the wrong thing. Than you would find in the other markers. To me, a Prismacolor marker is an artist marker because it renders like an artist marker. These are Copics, and Copics are kind of the same when it comes to the brush tip. They are more like a Prismacolor. You see the difference, the variation there, like how it presses down. To me, if I were to use these, I really don't have a lot of change in the way I would use them. They blend very, very well. And these are higher tier markers. So they will be at the $3 sign marker. I would look at these only if I'm creating marker art that I'm selling to someone else. That's why I bought these, because I do that. So there you have the higher tier marker. All of the markers, for the most part, I use all of them. They do work well. See? All of the markers, for the most part, like I have Arteza. Arteza is another brand. It is more in the mid-tier range. And these are Everblend markers. This is the first set of markers I bought for real, as somebody that was making art with my markers. They all have these blenders. This is a, what are they called? A colorless blender. So they all have colorless blenders. This is my Ohuhu colorless blender. This is my Arteza colorless blender. They do the same thing. So they all come with these. If your markers don't come with these, something happened. Like, why is my markers without a colorless blender? So the more brands you buy, the more colorless blenders you'll collect, because they come with almost every set of whatchamacallits that you get. So the colorless blender has its perks. The colorless blender is not for blending for real. Telling y'all right now. Don't think, oh, if I don't know how to blend, I'm going to use this colorless blender. No. Okay? They all come with a colorless blender. Well, colorless blenders work with alcohol markers, but they also work with pencils. So you can use this colorless blender in different ways. Now we're going to move on to color pencil, and then once we're under color pencil, we'll come back and talk about colorless blender. Sorry, I'm like, where did I get this from? And then you have, of course, Sharpies. Sharpies are usable. They're pretty good. I like them. And I do enjoy a good Sharpie. So Sharpies are another this, to me, I think Sharpie is water-based. Whether it's this one or the Sharpie creative markers, which I also have, I believe they're all water-based. I might be wrong, but I believe that Sharpie is a water-based brand. Okay? So that's what I would say about this. Crayola is a water-based brand for the most part. When you used markers when you were little and you didn't really love it, and they would eat up your paper, that's what water-based markers do. They're going to eat your paper. That's going to be a Crayola. That's going to be a, what's the other name of that thing? Y'all can name some of these water-based brands. Crayola is big for that because they usually cater to children. There's another one. Oh, I cannot remember the name of it, but it's a big brand. And they cater to that. So I would just say Sharpies are oil-based. The ones you get for permanent writing. Oh, they're oil-based? Those are oil-based because the Sharpie creative markers are water-based. That's why they don't bleed. So bleed, let's talk about bleed. Bleed is another thing. Bleed is very common when you are coloring with an alcohol-based marker. It is not common when you're coloring with a water-based marker. So bleed is common when you're coloring with an alcohol-based marker, but not a water-based marker. And then with paint pens also do not bleed. So paint pens do not you're not going to see paint pen on the back of your paper. If you're confused, if you're confused as to whether or not you're using a water-based versus an alcohol-based marker, look at the back of your paper. Your water-based marker is not going to bleed through. Your alcohol marker is going to bleed through. So typically what you're going to want is to have some sort of cardstock behind your page so that it doesn't bleed through to the other page. You always want to slip this behind the page you're using so it doesn't bleed through to the other page. Why am I saying that? Because if you don't, it will bleed through to the other page. Quite often, what you will get in some of your sets is this thing here, this supposed this thing. You'll get this. It comes in a lot of coloring sets when you get markers. Is this clear sheet, but this clear sheet will cause problems on your page. What are the problems that it'll cause? If you have this underneath your page, and let me give you an example. Say I'm coloring in this book and I'm using this clear sheet and I say, okay, I'm gonna put this here because in my journal, all my coloring pages are on the left. So I'm gonna put this here and I'm gonna color this page. As I start coloring this page with alcohol marker, it's going to bleed through here, but it'll pick up here. And if I move this page around a lot and I start getting staining on my page, it's because this marker has bled through to this plastic, because that's what this is, plastic, and I'm moving this plastic around and it's shifting color all over my page. So that's what these little sheets come with. But if you were to then say, well, I'm not going to use that, I'm going to use this, and I'm going to stick this behind here, and I'm going to color all over here. If you're doing that, then it's easier because now this is just going to absorb the ink, whereas the plastic will not, it won't absorb the ink. It'll leave the ink here and it sits on the surface of it and you're moving it around and you're wondering why you got all these weird colors all over your page. It's because you're using this plastic sheet. What this plastic sheet is really good for is if you have staining on a page, because some markers do stain, some alcohol markers do stain. And Joki is an alcohol marker that does stain. This marker stains. Depends on some of the colors in it, but it stains. So what I mean by staining is if you're flipping through your book and you're like, oh, I got these little weird yellow halo marks in my book, it's because your page is stained. It's not a big deal because what you can do is you can take this cardstock, this plastic, and then put that page on top and use this colorless blender and scrub. And as you scrub, the color will go into this plastic and it will absorb that. It's either this way or this way. I believe it's this way. I can't remember, but I do believe it's that way. I think you put this down first and you put this on top and then you scrub your page with your colorless blender. You can get the color out. My friend, Lala, she calls this a bleach pen. That's what the colorless blender really is. It's like a bleach pen. Does that make sense? Alexa, stop. So that's the rundown on markers. I hope that was helpful. Clearly, we're not going to get to color pencils presently, but that's the rundown on markers. Again, if you are interested in the pricing of things and my opinions on specific brands, you can join our mailing list. And that list will come to you, that information will come to you in your email in several different days because I have lists based on all the products that I own and my star ratings for them and all that stuff and links directly to the products that I say are good. All of them, actually. You can just make your choice. So that is what I would say about markers. When you get any product, it could be markers, it could be color pencils, you need a swatch sheet. What is a swatch sheet? A swatch sheet is basically you saying these are the colors that are in this brand. This is a completed swatch sheet. This is a blank swatch sheet. I always put numbers on mine and then I put the name of the thing on it. I put my brand name on it as well. Sometimes I put how many are in the actual set. So I prefer to organize and I had to learn this, I prefer to organize my sets by color. And then based on color, I start swatching for any of the products that I have. I swatch for the products to make sure that I can see what the colors are, because quite often you are not going to get the same color as what's on here out of the marker. You're just not. So like, this is this color here, but this is what this color looks like for real, right? Light prawn, but this is the color of the marker top. And where's R15? Let's see if I got that on here. I got R1. Let me see if I could pull one of these colors and actually see R9. So R9 is pastel rose. Quite often, this is not going to match that. It doesn't always. You got all these little colors here on the tops of these markers, but they don't always come out of the marker looking like what it looks like on the thing. So make sure that you get some form of a swatch sheet so that you can actually put your stuff, in an order for yourself. However you like to see your colors and whatnot. I have a Trapper Keeper that houses all of my swatch sheets, essentially, and I have them organized in dividers based on the substrate. So all my markers are under one substrate. If it's a water-based marker, they're all under one tab. So when I go through and I'm like telling you, I'm going to pull these colors, I'm literally pulling colors based off of my swatch sheet. And all of my swatch sheets are made with cardstock. I feel like it lasts a little bit longer when it's made of cardstock. And then I have them in sleeves so that they don't get nasty as I flip through them. So there's that part. I think that's the big stuff. I hope that was helpful because you don't start out, let me jump into blending. You start out with, what do I need to buy in order to achieve the results I want to have? And if you don't know how to do that or go on that journey, it's a little more difficult for you to even get to the idea of blending because you may not even have the right products to do it with. So I wanted to start there. And when we do this again next Friday on Tutorial Friday, I'll talk about the color pencils then, and we'll go through the types and different kinds of color pencils there are. What I will say advice-wise is to just start with one. You don't need 800 markers. You really don't. Start with one brand that you think is doable. Like I just showed you 3 separate brands that do exactly the same thing. You don't really have to start in a place where it's like, well, I'm gonna try this. I never heard of these people before. You could try with things that you've heard of before and you move forward from there. I was talking about Sharpie Creative Markers. This is what that looks like. These Sharpie Creative Markers look like this, and I have them in all the colors. But that's what these look like, and these are water-based. I think Ashley said the Sharpies are water-based, acid-free ink. Okay, cool beans. Did y'all have any questions based on what we just discussed? We're going to, no thanks. Okay. We're about to start our blending. This is going to be a couple different options of blending. Did y'all have any colors that you wanted to suggest? Do y'all have any colors you would like to suggest for the blend tutorial? I'm sharpening my pencil, listening and giving out smiles. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to do a circle for these 3. Yeah, Sharpie does have oil-based paint pens. Those are the ones that I have that are oil-based, actually. Ashley's absolutely correct. Sharpie has oil-based markers too. Miss Chocolate, vibing out. Okay, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for vibing. We love good vibes. We love good vibes. Since y'all ain't give me no colors, I guess I'll figure out the colors myself. I'm not doing no green to move. I don't even see them. I don't even know what that word say. I can't read now. I don't even know how to read. That word looked like pink to me. I think you said, let's start out with pink. I think that's what you said. Sounds good to me, girl. I'm not going to fight it. Blue. Okay, we'll do blue. We sure was about to start out with some paint. All right, so we're going to pull 2 colors. When you're choosing colors for blending, there are a couple different ways you could do this. You can choose colors that don't fit into the same family, and that's fine. And what I mean by don't fit in the same family, you could do orange, green, and blue if you like. Okay, I tend to try to blend in the same family. That works for me. I don't like fighting with colors and I don't like having arguments with them. However, one of the things that is really cool about alcohol, I was looking for this. I was literally like, where are my let's thank God. Okay. So what I really like is to watch the process on the page. So I suggest that y'all start looking at the process on the page when you are blending, because it does give you a good idea of what's happening. So I'm going to choose this Robin's Egg Blue, which is B234. Let me see. Is it in here? I'm going to choose this Robin's Egg Blue, and then I'm going to choose this pastel blue, PB7. Why do I have two robin egg blues? What? Four and oh, is this not? That is Sophia. That's weird. Anyway, this is not my business. I don't know why there are two of these. That's crazy. There are two of the same color and two different color numbers. What's PV9? It might be down here. Alexa, skip, because he is whining too much in my ear. Hello. Use turquoise, teal, they're common colors. Turquoise and teal, where is it? This one? Turquoise. And where's the teal? Magenta, teal, and yellow. I'm glad you didn't outright ignore me. Why would I ignore it? Blue, red. Actually, she throwing out all kind of colors. Wait a minute now. I said 200 comments here. Thank you, also. Appreciate it, lady. Okay, so you said you want turquoise and teal. I don't see teal on here. Who the heck is teal? Am I overlooking it? Okay, y'all pick the colors off here. Because you like they common colors. I'm like, okay, I done went through this robin egg blue journey. Y'all tell me which color numbers and we'll pull that. And then that's what we're going to do the tutorial on. Oh, it's hot in here. I think it's good to do colors where you can see the change. Like the blue in your hand. I already put that blue up. Tell me which color by the letter and the number combo. Because I'm not going to be here all day doing this. So tell me the letter and number combo you want me to use, and I'll use it. You need to look in the green family to find teal. I don't even know. I don't have no green here. Ain't no green in here. Oh my God, I do see teal. I don't like that. That is unattractive, Ashley. Let me see. You said turquoise and teal? Jesus. Okay, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it, BG8. You were right. It is in the green family. That sure was not looking. I put that whole swatch thing away. I put it away. So teal turquoise. I think she mentioned it before you pull the sheet. Okay. Let me look for, that's the teal. Where's the turquoise at? The 8. Where's 68? We got 3 of them to move. We'll get to the ones that you pulled that you're talking about. 68, 68, 68, 68. That must also be in the other, yep, and it is. They were together, friends. I'm going to call them enemies, but y'all can call them what you like. Call it what you like. Okay, so this is how I do color plans, and it's pretty much the same when I do tutorials. So let me slide this over this way so y'all can see all of it. I'm just here trying to comply with your request. So we're using Sophia shenanigans. I can't write with this pen. This thing is a nibbly nib. I ain't got time for that. I like a thick tip on my pen. Hello? Yes. So we're using Sophia brand, SFAIH, and teal and turquoise blue. This is the teal. This is our turquoise blue. All right, so I like starting with the lightest color first. So I will use, I shouldn't have slid this over. Y'all can't see over there. I like starting with the lightest color. So I'll use this turquoise blue first, and I will start at the top of this circle. When you're coloring with alcohol markers, you want to keep moving. You do not want to stop, because when you stop, you will leave streaks. So we color fast. You can color up and down, but a lot of times for blending purposes, you want to color in circles. So I got the top of that done, right? Now I'm going to grab my bottom. This is still wet. You can still see that it's wet. So now this is my bottom color, and I'm going to try to get it on as fast as possible. Why am I doing this? Because I'm trying to get them to blend. So I'm going to do my bottom. And of course, you don't have to do it like this fast. I know the purpose of this, so I'm trying to get it done quickly. So this is my bottom color. My top color is still wet. I'm going to take my light color and come back over and blend in. And you can kind of see, let's zoom in a little. I'm going to pull this down and zoom y'all in. You can see the change in the color as the alcohol marker pushes it away. You can see it. And so you are literally pushing the color away as it is blending it for you. Unfortunately, this is not a super juicy marker at all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for choosing this unjuicy marker. I will then take my blending and I will continue blending down. So it's pushing the color out of the dark. And it's just how I blend. I don't know about everybody else, but this works for me. Do these colors work for me? I'm not going to tell y'all I don't like this, but I don't like it because it is literally, this is a dry marker. The dark color is so juicy and this color is just not. We gonna have to work on this, y'all, when I let y'all choose colors for me. All right, so I'm going to do that. It looks crazy, right? Look real crazy for real. Who knew with all your green dislike? Hush your face. And then I'm going to take this darker color and I'm going to flick it back up. I flick. That's how I blend it. I flick back up. I'm a flicker. So I'll flick back up into my light color and I try to keep it. And then I go back in and now I'm going in circles to make sure that it blends in a better way. Because the flicks now aren't super heavy. So it's doing more of a blend rather than it being a hard line. You see what I'm saying? And I'm in circles. I'm moving in circles. So that's blend number one. You may be like, I can't really see. It's better like this because I got so much stuff on that other page behind it. You can't see it without the junk, but that's it without the junk. Try to put it on the other side so it's not so much junk. But that's the blend of it. And then you're going to keep playing with it really to make it exactly what you want it to be. But you got to have some patience when it comes to the blending. That's for sure. So I'm going to go back around here and I'm still flicking. My circle is so lopsided. My circle's so lopsided, y'all. She lopsided in the mud. Ain't nobody laughing with you, Lauren and Tamu. Y'all think I don't see y'all talking trash. I sees it. I said. I saw it and I said, let me focus first and then I'll address it. Starting shenanigans in the comments. Y'all team greens. Y'all are a lot. All right, y'all. That's essentially how that works. Will I ever blend these two colors again? No. Every time I blend these colors, they suck. Every single time. But you can always fix that. How do you fix a messed up blend? Easy. Color pencil. We'll go over that when we cover the color pencil. We'll fix this blend when we do that. Sometimes you gotta let things be ugly for a little bit. But I'm gonna bring my blend back down into this color. I don't want it to be too heavy. I just want it to touch it. All right, we good on that? That's one color. Shenanigans. What other colors did the gum into the building for the tutorial? Leave me be. Leave me be, woman. Unhand my chewing gum. Unhand it. Magenta. And so for magenta, we'll look at pink and magenta. Coral pink. Do I have a magenta? That's a lot of colors, but ain't none of them called magenta. Magenta is like a hot pink. I can use vivid pink, but I don't have magenta. It's vivid pink and pastel rose. You said red. I just did your teals, ma'am. I feel like the Nazi now. No more tutorial colors for you. No more tutorial colors for you. Unhand my tutorial colors. Spearmint. Spearmint. What I didn't put up here was the color numbers. This is R9 and this is vivid pink. This is RP6. And then these colors, these hideous under creatures, these hideous under creatures that y'all had me use is BG68 and BG8. I didn't pick teal, ma'am. Somebody picked teal. Somebody said teal in the comments. These are common colors. I said, oh, okay. I didn't know that, but okay. I'm just doing what I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do so I don't get fined. This is the pastel rose. Let's see what that's looking like. That's pastel blue and red. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. That is true. All right, so these are the two pinks, because pink is a lovely color that loves us. And these are juicy. Hello? Okay. So we're going to blend these. We're going to start with this lightest color first. I read the comments wrong. You're right. You are absolutely correct. I probably read them upside down because I was going from bottom to top instead of top to bottom. So our pink, we're going to put the light color down. Put a finger down. And we're going to put this color down. That's what we're about to do. And you want the piece that is going to be blending with the other thing to be wet. You want it to be wet. It's got to be wet. Can't be dry. So I'm going to go back over this little bottom here so I can make sure that my bottom is wet when I do this blend here. So that's a pretty pink. Yes, it is. And then this is a pretty pink. And we're going to blend them together. Because look at this harmony. Okay? I'm just saying. This is called harmony. It ain't fighting each other. It ain't arguing with itself. Harmony. We look for harmonious colors. What have we learned about teal and turquoise blue? Not harmonious. That's what we've learned. Gotta go back and fix you. The end. But we start in here. Look at that gorgeousness. Look how they talking to each other. And then we go back in with our lightest color and we blend it in. We blend it together because, harmony. Hello? Thanks. Harmony. And harmony was not found with blue-green. We'll put the emphasis on green. You know why there was no harmony? We'll put the emphasis on green. Yes. Because somebody loves pink, that marker sugar got a lot of ink in it. Correct. Because pink know how to act. That's why. That's why. Because pink knows how to act. Pink don't show her rump meat on the live. That's what it is right now. Pink don't be showing her booty meats on the live. Pink be like, I'm just staying in my place because I know what's best for myself. Pink has couth. That's why. That's why pink has couth because it doesn't actually get used. I use pink a sickening amount. I'm not arguing with Tamu. Why am I arguing with Tamu? Not gonna be able to do it. Why be letting Tamu go be into shenanigans? I am 50 adjacent. I ain't got time. I'm making a blending tutorial. Leave me alone, Tamu. You talking crazy about my pink. Pink don't do nothing to you. You leave pink alone. I see y'all pull Stephanie into y'all's green jungle. I saw it. You was simpatico, and then she went into the jungle of the greens. She's lost to me now. I can't do nothing about it. She's in the color war. She's stuck in the color war. I can't help her. Too bad. She's aligned with the dissidents. Poor lady. We have color wars over here, y'all. And just in case y'all didn't know, pink is always going to be the victor. Look at what pink did. You see what she did? You see her over here. You see how cute she is looking? She got her hair braided. We put some grease in it. Pink is over here doing her thug thizzle. Look at this one up here. Look at that one up there. I'm not going to say nothing about it, but look at it. Hello? You know what that is? You know what this is? This is Inclecta. It's oh my gosh. That man is an idiot. This is Inclecta. I'm going to name it Inclecta. Man, Jesus. Oh, my stomach hurt, buddy. That's what that is right there. But you always want to take your lightest color and blend down into the darkest color. Yes, we can do blue next. Hey. Let me close this up. Put this back. And collect. I feel so happy. That is too funny to me. Okay, let's do blue. Good old blue. Good old blue. Good old blue. My name's Blue. All right, we're going to do pale blue. And let's get a darker blue. I guess we can go pale blue to phthalo blue. We could do these two. Pale blue and phthalo blue. I don't know if y'all can see phthalo blue. This is pale blue. This is phthalo blue. Mint blue gum. Where do you see that at? I don't understand. You said regular blue. We ain't doing no mint blue. You said regular blue. Boring blue. We doing regular 120. Where's P 120? I ain't fooling up with Ashley, because then she gonna be like, ain't nobody tell you to do them colors. Yes, you did. No, you was mistakenly read my thing. Correct. Okay, well, regular blue. Let's use two colors you can't differentiate and then rave about how they blend. Ma'am, you are tripping. These pinks are very distinctly different. This pink is light-skinned. This a light-skinned pink, and this a medium-skinned pink. Tay, they are playing in here with me. Tay. You get them, Tay. Get them, Tay. They acting up. They acting up with 2Ks. They acting up. They starting with me. I'm just in here trying to do a little tutorial or whatever, and they just talking crazy. Talk about my pinks ain't distinctively different. Them two different pinks. Ain't nobody playing with her. I ain't listening to Taboo. Listen. I'm not. She said, I just got here. You better get them. You better get them. Get them. Get them, Tay. Because they tripping. They tripping in here. We are doing a blue of a regular variety based on what Ashley asked for. And she talked about subdue some mint blue. Mint blue. No, we're not doing no mint blue. We doing regular blue. No exotic blues no more. That top blue was a terrible decision. It's a scheme set up by Todd. I ain't got time. B120. And then we are using phthalo blue. We are blending today. I can't even hide that top one. That's just going to be on my tutorial page. I'm just playing. It's going to be on my tutorial page forever and a day. Jesus of the Crizzles. All right, so we are going to swatch this pale blue. Pale blue is a little less juicy than I want it to be. I did try to blend it. It refused because it's rude. It is rude. And this is phthalo blue. Because why are we trying to blend colors that are so different from each other that they don't even look like they belong in the same space? The end. Hello. So we start at the top with the pale blue because he is dry as hell. I don't even know if I could blend this with anything, but we're here. We're here now. He don't even want to go down for regular. I don't know what he gonna do when it's time to blend him for real. I can discriminate against colors if I want to. I can. It's my choice. I'm doing nothing to nobody. I'm in here coloring. All right, so we are coming down to the center of the circle a little bit. We want to go back in and make sure that the bottom of our circle is a little wet as it can be, considering that this blue dry is a stale biscuit, but it is what it is. So we put that down. Then we go ahead and get our darker color and we come up over the light tinted blue. We come up over it. We go into it. We don't be afraid of it. We shouldn't be afraid because it's dry as hell. So we shouldn't have any issue going in there. Going in there. Give him some wet. Okay? A little bit of smacks like that. Going in there because he's dry. Good luck with the blend is what I'm getting from this experience. All right. So we have that blue in there. We're going to make sure we pull it over. Get our whole little circle together. Okay. We're going to come back up and give it a little bit more juice. So it's got something to blend down. Now we're going to come in here with the driest marker in the creation of man. And we're just going to blend it back with the blue that it already was playing around with. Now, I think it'll turn out fine because this had a little more juice than I thought. It had a little more juice in the squeeze, okay? A little bit more than I expected. Then we're going to come in here again. We're going to come on down a little bit more just to make sure we talk to it nice. Okay? And then we're going to come back in with the darker one and we're going to come up from the bottom. We're going to do a little flicking because we ain't scared of him. We're going to do a little more at the bottom, but we're going to flick into the light blue. It's a little bit of flicking action into the light blue. But at the bottom, we're going to rub him together like cricket legs. Flick, 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 flick. Cricket legs, rubbing them together at the bottom. Okay. All right, we're going to go back up in here because we not no punk. We're going to go back up in here and it ain't going to tell us nothing. You're not telling us nothing. Get in here and mix up with your friends. Enjoy your day. You know what I'm saying? And then take this light color and come back and say, hey, friends, how y'all doing? And then we blending it back again. We in circles now. We in Circleville. We don't want to do too much. We in Circleville. We just lightly touching. It. We're going to come back in here, get a little bit more darkness, a little bit of flicking, flicking back up. We not scared of no darkness. Bam, in your face, flickety flick. What? And then we roll it back down because this one, you listen, flick, 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 roll them legs together. Cricket legs at the bottom. Another little layer of cricket legs, rubbing and we're getting it in. Amen. Then we come back to this top here. Because we're not going to let blue defeat us. It ain't going to be that ugly color at the top there with her rude self. And then we're going to come on in here and we're going to get our top part again and bring it in together. Bring it all together. See that? It's the life we live. We blend in. And ain't no color going to stand in our way. Hello? Yes. What about the way you love me? Hello? Ask him. There we go. Blended. Scrolling back up. Let me see. She must have missed the color wars. She did. She missed the color wars. Now you putting orange in here. See, nobody, you late. We ain't even got a color war against orange. The color war is against green. Stay together. Keep it together, ma'am. Coming in with the orange. I'm not even offended by orange. I'm offended by green. Thank you. This feels like Monday energy, not Friday energy. So, play the Yonderland album. Ma'am, her roots. Y'all be cutting up. Listen, this is a better blend. These two, we friends. This one could go all the way to hell in gasoline draws and take a trip on a rocket ship. That's what this one could do. But we gonna fix this one. This is perfect because we gonna fix it with color pencil. That's why, you always need an example. You need to make an example of somebody. And that's this one right here. You got to make an example of them. So we did our blending. I don't want y'all coming in here talking about y'all don't know how to blend no more. We've learned today. My God, we've learned today how to blend. We've learned that when the colors are this far apart, leave that shit alone. That's what we learned right here. That's the lesson from number 1. This lesson from number 2, try to get your colors in the family together. You see how these look together? In the family. You know what I'm saying? I ain't flipped no marker. I ain't had time. And then this one, same. Try to get them within the same family. Because look, this is what I look at when I'm choosing what to choose. If the colors have the same shade and tint, I'm not trying to choose colors that don't have same shade and tint because it makes it harder to blend them. Like this robin's egg blue and this turquoise blue, they would look good together. They have the same kind of shade or tint. This aquamarine does not have the same shade or tint as this brilliant blue. Okay? No, it don't. They not. No. I'm not going to try to blend this aquamarine with this royal blue either. It's just not going to happen. That's my thought. I try to blend colors that look like they could go together. One is a tint or a shade of the other. That's how I look at it. So I would go with this cerulean blue and I would go with this Indian blue. Notice I did not say Napoleon blue. Skipped on past Napoleon because I ain't got time for that. Cerulean, Indian, they could go together. Or if I'm looking at this dolphin blue and I want to blend this dolphin blue with something, what can I blend it with? I'm looking at that. That's the question I'm asking myself. I would say dolphins and pigeons go together. This pigeon blue, this dolphin blue, they would go together to me. So I'm looking at colors that would blend well together, not colors that are so disparate that they don't even look like they belong in the same household. Okay? So when you're looking at your colors, think about that. Look at shade and tint and say, well, I'm making good decisions or I'm making poor decisions. If I had used green, I would be making a poor decision. So if I'm going to go ahead and make a poor decision, might as well keep it flowing and say, well, what colors would I use if I was going to use green? I would use meadow green. I would use green shadow. These colors to me look like they make sense. Look at them. All right. So when we are looking at blending things, we need to look at not only the colors we're trying to blend, but if they look like they even belong in the same room together. Y'all know y'all have dated a man and at some point you looked at him and said to yourself, why am I with this person? We don't even look like we belong together. That's exactly what you should be thinking about when you are blending colors. Why am I with this person? It don't even look like we belong together. Not you having a whole tree book and not liking green. Trees come in other colors. Hello? They change colors all throughout the year. Amen? Amen, somebody. Thank you. You thought you had me, but you didn't. Slipped out of that knot. Thank you so much. You thought you had me, but you did not. Yes, use a test sheet before you try it on your pictures, because if your goal is to make it look good for yourself and you don't know if it will, try something else. Like when we do this, when we work on this, because our next tutorial Fridays, it will be us talking about color pencil. I'll use color pencil to fix this. But this is a good example of how this did not blend well and these other ones did, because I looked at things that were in the same family and I went from there. So I hope that was helpful to y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the tutorial. The notes that you took, I hope that they are well preserved. We started out here with markers and we talked about all the variety of markers, and then we went on to blend this. So good job, y'all. Thank y'all so much for showing up.